All right, I'm here with part 4 of our Chicago Composers Orchestra interview series, and we've got Seth Boustead right here at Coffee Chicago on the north side. Say hi for us, Seth.
Hello.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself as a composer and also, new music organizer and your life in Chicago?
Sure. I got interested in composing in college. I was at the University of Missouri-Columbia as a piano performance major. And I kind of hated it, and I had only gone into that because I didn't know composing was an option. I didn't know people were still composing, and when I found out, I was so intrigued by this idea. It was so cool to me, and I also liked the composers a lot better than the piano performance majors. They were a much cooler group of people, willing to go out and get a beer after concerts and just have fun and stuff. So I thought, this is great. I can write music, other people can play it, and I can still drink. This is perfect. So I got interested in composition through that way, and I just was listening to music constantly. I grew up listening to pop music. So I think the music that I write is this insane amalgam of the various and sundry things that I've listened to over time, plus my own emotional input, because I do like if the music has some kind of emotional element to it. And I'm drawn to somewhat lyrical music that is expressive in nature. I moved to Chicago about 16 years ago to get my master's degree at the Chicago College of Performing Arts, which I did. And then I decided not to get a doctorate because I was really done with school at that point. So I decided to start an organization, as so many of us do, and started Access Contemporary Music. My idea was to give composers that were unknown a chance to have their music heard. So we started weekly readings in 2004, which has become our signature program. And we read music by pretty much any composer who sends in. It has to be, I know this is going on the web, but man, it has to be a pretty bad piece for us not to read it. And I don't mean bad aesthetically. I mean it has to be illegible or unplayable or something. We really, if it's bad, so to speak, we especially want to read it because composers have to hear what they're writing, we think, to get better. And then we started a concert series, and we've got a lot of other things going on since then. And now I'm fortunate enough that I can make my living working for this company, which is fantastic.
Awesome, yeah. So we've got your piece programmed for our June 11th concert called This Point Forward. Tell us a little bit about that, kind of what your inspiration is and your process composing it, and maybe something to listen for the audience.
Sure. Well, the piece, I had a hard time getting going, and then the piece, I had like 4 ideas kind of at once, and only one of them actually made it into the piece, and that was, I was reading this book by science fiction author J.G. Ballard, and it was just this really creepy book that gets creepier and creepier as it goes along. I won't go into the premise, but so I got this idea of writing what I thought of as inexorable motion. So it would be these quarter notes that very rhythmically simple, but they would build and build, and they would keep going, and they would get kind of creepier as they go along. And that did make it into the piece. I started with that initially, but then I had another idea, which was that I wanted to have this white noisy sound. And I actually went to the percussion room in Roosevelt and just kind of played around with different things, with brushes on the snares and sand blocks and all kinds of things that could produce a sort of white noise sound together. And I recorded them all and layered them in GarageBand. And I actually did get some pretty cool sounds, but I wound up not doing that because at the same time I decided that what I really wanted were some interruptions in this inexorable motion. So now I had inexorable motion and I had interruptions. And then I decided it would be really cool to start with an interruption. So the piece begins with this gigantic outburst in all of the instruments, and then there's this very moody thing in the strings that goes along for a while, and then there's another outburst, and then there's a third outburst, and then everything calms down. And then I wrote this, I had decided not to have harp, actually, and then when I saw the Chicago Composers Orchestra concert, whatever month that was, the previous one, yeah, in January, I just liked the harp. I thought, well, why am I writing for everything but harp? That's stupid. I'm going to write for the full orchestra. So then I wrote this really nice, well, I think it's nice, I hope it works out, part for the very lowest strings of the harp and the very lowest part of the piano at the same time. And so that's in the middle. It's this very peaceful, calm little duet between those two. And then the bassoon comes in with a melody, and then it builds up. So there's this calm in the middle of the storm. And then everybody gets wiped out kind of, and there's this very, very low section, tuba, bass clarinet, lowest range of the piano, and then that comes into this piano solo, which then goes into the inexorable quarter notes, and then I bring all the interruptions back. So there's these quarter notes, and then all the interruptions, boom, in the whole rest of the orchestra, and then that just builds, and all the opening material comes back, but now it's much, much faster with interruptions, and then the percussion comes in, and everybody is forte, and it's just going to be a tremendous amount of noise at the end of the piece, and that's how it ends, very loudly with a bang.
Excellent. Yeah, I was actually on the phone with our conductor today. He was mentioning that your piece has a great loud ending.
It's a very loud ending. I can't wait to hear it.
So that's
especially
great.
In that hall. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to hearing your piece on the June 11th program, and I'll be back next week with our final installment of CCO Composers. Until then, have a good one.